that water looks Next up, I would like to introduce a man who really needs no introduction, the chairman, Judge Michael Donahue. And as a small token of our gratitude for what you've done in this fight against offshore wind, but fighting salty and being there every step of the way, is this Eagles football signed by Eagles. Jaworski.
Nice, thanks. Thanks, Robin. Woo. Really appreciate that. Doug, what am I doing wrong? Hold on. Hold it up close? Yeah. All right. I got a ball from the Polish rifle, Ron Jaworski. It's pretty sweet. A little louder? A little more feedback? I'll hold it as close as I can. How's that? All right. First of all, thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. I was very honored when Jamie asked me to MC this event this year because I've gotten to know so many of you. And this group has become like a family, not just here in Cape May County, but up and down the East Coast. I had an outreach right from a new friend in Nantucket this morning. I've been in touch with people up there for a couple of years, and we all know what happened up there. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, as we move along. They are in the moment we were in about a year ago, which I'll talk about when I get to my remarks. But we have a whole lineup of speakers. You know, there's an old saying, blessed are the brief, they shall be invited back. But it's important that we have folks who come out here and join this group and speak to all of you, because we have to stay in this fight. First person that you're going to hear from tonight is Trudy Gettler. Not only is she the membership chair for Protect Our Coast New Jersey, she is the ultimate Facebook poster all over every single wind group throughout the world. Trudy, come on up.
Thank you, everyone. That's because I don't have a life outside the internet, okay? And to prove this, there's no way I could even memorize the short, tiny speech I want to give. So I'm going to read it. I want to take a minute of your time to tell you about Cairns and some very like-minded friends in Norway. Most of you don't know what a Cairn is, and I didn't until I started this last year. We've all seen miniature ones. There's a whole bunch of them down at Sunset Beach, just off of it. Okay, is that better? Okay. They're just balanced rocks. People do it to mark trails. People do it because it's fun to balance rocks. But in other areas, they're bigger. Okay, some of them are memorials. Some of them are funeral piles. In Norway, they used to build giant ones, like taller than this fence, and they'd fill them. They weren't just piled. They would fill them with debris and set them on fire. And they did this so that they could warn people of dangers coming from the sea. They'd light them on the beaches, the plains, hills, mountaintops. They were all over the place. And if one person lit it, seeing a danger, the next village seeing it would light theirs, and so on. It would go down the road, sort of, or down the beach. So that's where the idea came from. So when Norway started having issues about 6 years ago, and they did not want to put up with it anymore, and they wanted to find a nice, peaceful way to protest and tell everyone that they're against turbines. Everyone thinks Norway wants them. They don't. They started thinking about this ancient way of warning from the sea. And they started this. See if I can pronounce the name of it, if I can find it here. I just skipped ahead. It was initially called Nasjonal vardetenning vindkraft. I had it better earlier today. My apologies for any Norwegians watching, because I just totally messed that up. Last year was our first year being in this. And at that point, the year before, I think they had something like 15 countries involved and 23 sites. Last year, it was up to 23 countries and 722 sites. So we are hoping that it'll be much bigger this year. We're actually doing it early. Norway doesn't do it until the 8th of October. And that is a special date for them. It has something to do with the translation is hard for me. It has something to do with a starvation protest that went on. on that date, so they will never change it. And of course, being here, we can't do it on a weekday. So they agreed to let us do it early. We will be on their map. They put out a global map with everybody, every country, every site in the world that is doing it. I'm hoping we're getting a lot in Australia this year. I'm hoping for the Philippines, okay? So I'm going to continue working for the next 2 weeks until they have theirs. Anyway, I want to thank some people in Norway, especially Jane Nygaard and Irene, if I can get this right, Naja, I'm not going to be able to say it correct. I'm sorry, Noreen, Irene. She's the one that started the group. So, and I totally lost my place on my phone and my speech, so I'm just going to say goodbye at this point. But thank you all for coming. Groups around the world, thank you for continuing this. Special thanks to those I've been speaking to in Australia and in Scotland. That's it.
Thank you, Trudy. It's an interesting history. Senator Testa that says it's where the Cairn Terrier comes from too, so we got that going for us. So throughout this effort over the last several years, and many of you have been involved in it from the start, sort of, one of the most important things that we were able to accomplish was to get elected officials on board with us, and you all know that. And without the elected officials who were willing to step out and oppose Ørsted, we would not have been able to do what we have done so far, and we will make no progress moving forward. It's grassroots people like you on the ground. It's elected officials having the courage to step up and say no, and it's litigation with lawyers in court that is going to shut this down. And without one of those components, we're not going to be successful. And one of those people who helped early on and has helped all along is Senator Michael Testa from here in District 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll try to not get the Jimi Hendrix feedback on this. You know, I want everyone to look at the beach and take a look at the ocean right now and think of how drastically different our ocean would look if it were aligned with those massive, ugly turbines that have a red light on them. You know, I never thought in a million years that we would be arguing with the so-called environmentalists stating that they shouldn't industrialize our oceans. And, you know, we were having a discussion before while we were waiting about, you know, some of our favorite movies are from the 1980s. And that red light district that's out there, or that they want out there, reminds me of some, you know, futuristic dystopian view that would be in RoboCop or Blade Runner. And it's disgusting. And, you know, we could talk about this forever, and it's hard to be brief about this because we're so passionate about what it is that we have in our homes. And what it is that we have that's special in South Jersey, what it is that is special about having this wonderful beach and this view. And think about it, it's almost October, it's 80+ degrees. There's quite a number of people on the beach, surfing, swimming, sunbathing, and they wouldn't come here. They admit that they wouldn't come here, that tourism would be cut drastically if those turbines are there. And I've said it before, every Jersey kid's dream is to one day own a home at the shore, at the beach. And guess what'll happen? It'll destroy that dream. And it also kills whales in the process. You know, I have the pleasure of serving with Assemblyman Eric Simonson and Antoine McClellan, and as Chairman Donahue said, it took legislators to stand up. We were told this was a done deal. From the first day, before we were even sworn in, we were told this is a done deal. And we said, no, it's not. And we stood up. And did we need the help of each and every one of you and then some? Absolutely. Did we need the help of litigation? Absolutely. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Congressman Van Drew, who wanted to be here this evening, and he wanted me to deliver a message. He said, I have to be at this event. It's my grandson's birthday, Michael. And I said, listen, Congressman, I'll deliver the message. He's been there since day one, fighting against offshore wind. You know, myself, Antoine, and Eric have called Governor Murphy's Energy Master Plan the Energy Disaster Plan since we were sworn into office, me in 2019 in December, and then in January of 2020. We knew this was a problem. And what did they do? They put the pedal to the metal and said, This is getting shoved down your throats whether you like it or not. And you think about this, Energy Disaster Plan, as it's come to be known, we've said, hey, wait a minute, what about renewable natural gas? What about liquid natural gas? What about next generation nuclear through the small modular reactors? You're told, no, not that at all. And think about it, we're told we're not allowed to have RNG, which is renewable natural gas, or liquid natural gas. And you know what we did? We saved Germany from freezing last year by shipping liquid natural gas so that they could heat their homes. Why? Because Angela Merkel took away their nuclear plants, and now they're strip mining for coal. Yep. You know, and they had the nerve, I don't mind if someone comes to me and is honest, but offshore wind had the nerve to tell myself, Eric, Antoine, and everyone else that they spoke to the commercial fishing industry. That we sat down with them and they're good with this. No, they weren't. And when you talk to our commercial fishermen, some of which are here today, they tell you that they've never seen the amount of empty scallop shells that they call clappers. They've never seen this amount. You know, it takes groups like this that truly, it's of biblical proportions, of David versus Goliath. You all deserve a massive round of applause to be here on a beautiful Saturday night when you could be anywhere else with your family, but you are here to protect our coast, to stop these nonsensical windmills, which are super expensive, inefficient. And by the way, they kill whales in the commercial fishing industry. How dare they? How dare they lie to us like that? But as we said in Cape May County at the first sort of celebration of stopping Ørsted, we can't dance in the end zone just yet because this isn't over. We're being told that this is what you're going to get whether you like it or not. We need to be ever vigilant. It's so wonderful to hear, by the way, that you have not only friends in other states, you have friends in other countries. And we're seeing the disasters. Look, we saw what happened in Texas a couple of years ago. People froze in their homes. People died. All in the name of the pursuit of green energy. And folks, guess what? We knew this was coming, and I'm sure each and every one of you, if you have Atlantic City Electric, your bill has gone up. That's because of Atlantic City Electric. It's also because of this entity called the PJM. It's 13 states. Instead of pursuing updating our infrastructure and pursuing small modular reactors and liquid natural gas and renewable natural gas, they've been in this pursuit and they've neglected the grid and they've neglected the ratepayer. And oh, by the way, the ratepayers were going to have to foot the bill for $1 billion subsidy to Ørsted. Remember that? Just go look at who voted for that and you know who to vote out of office. I'm proud to be in this fight with you. You will never lose myself, Antoine McClellan, or Eric Simonson, and you certainly are never going to lose our Congressman, Jefferson Van Drew. God bless each and every one of you. May God bless you while you continue this fight and you are ever vigilant. And God bless America. Thank you so very much. Mr. Chairman, I think I have to mic you up.
Oh yeah, I'm getting that?
I think so.
We're passing this?
I think you might be.
Okay, whichever.
Right?
I don't know.
Speakers, right?
Who knows? Who would know the answer to that question? This guy?
What's that?
We're passing this mic around?
Yes.
Speaker, right?
That's perfect. That's for another cameraman.
Next speaker, that would be me. So should I be wearing that now?
Yeah.
I'm the next speaker.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Well, no, you don't have to wear it as.
I don't have to wear it? All right, good.
The next speaker should wear it.
I am the next speaker.
Oh, are you?
I am!
Then,
So what are we doing here,
What are we
man?
doing?
Somebody get your act together. What are we doing? Let's go. Give me that microphone.
Got it, sir.
All right. Smoke me if you got it.
Oh, you got it out there. You got it.
All right.
Here, let me see that. Flick the mute button while you're passing it.
This.
Yeah, get it off mute. There we go. You're good.
It's on now? All right.
Yeah.
Here, I'll take it.
Well, I need both.
yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
All right, let's reset. Hold it close. Sounds like my wife.
I'd like to introduce our next speaker, who's me. I am Mike Donahue, former New Jersey Superior Court judge. I'm special counsel to Cape May County for offshore wind. And, you know, I love speaking to groups about offshore wind. You know, the last 3-4 years it's consumed a major portion of my life. And I won't tell the whole story, and we have a lot of speakers to get through, but I do want to talk about some of it. And what we learned is really what I want to talk about. What we learned is you have to say no. You have to say no, and you have to have elected officials who are willing to say no. Because as many of you know, Ørsted started here in about 2018, 19, and came into town sort of quietly and picked off local elected officials and Chamber of Commerce and this civic group, and they worked, you know, hey, we're going to bring you a lot of money. We're going to help your town. We're going to help you build a building. We're going to pave your streets. Just stick with us. Say you're in favor of offshore wind. At a time when really people didn't know a whole lot about it. So by the time I got there in 2020 as the county administrator in an odd twist of fate during COVID, I started seeing these things about ocean wind and Ørsted coming across my desk, and I went to some people and said, what is this offshore wind? And nobody really was tuned into it. And I said, you know what, I think this is going to be kind of a big deal. And it was. And we really dug into it. In the beginning of 21, I was appointed special counsel for offshore wind, and that's when we really began to fight. And I want to talk a little bit about an unsung hero in this whole thing, which is County Commissioner Len Desiderio. He's the commission director. Many of you may not know who he is. A lot of you do. But it was really Len Desiderio who stepped up and said to me, what do we need to do to stop this? And I said, frankly, our chances of stopping it are very slim. But what we need to do is everything. We need to fight on the streets. We need to support, protect our coast, and save LBI and save Brigantine Beach and all of these groups all over the place. We need to help these people organize. We need to get together with them. We need to have information sessions for the public. We need to fight. Lenny's idea was the banner planes that you saw saying stop offshore wind. And we need to litigate. We need to fight them at the Board of Public Utilities. We need to fight them at the Appellate Division. We need to fight them in the federal courts. And Len Desiderio really was the man who stepped up and said, we're going to do it all. And he put the power and the purse of Cape May County government behind our efforts. And without that, without Lenny's leadership, and you're going to hear from Melanie Collette and Bobby Barr, who are also 2 county commissioners here in Cape May County, we never would have been able to really take it to Ørsted. We never would have been able to do that without all of you protesting on the ground. And let me share this with you, because I had some friends working on the other side who told me they don't like these protests. They don't like these groups that are forming, which led me to encourage everybody to keep getting together and keep putting these things on the street. I was talking to Jamie, and you put these things together and you're always worried no one's going to show up. And it's never as big a group as you want it to be. But I told her this, and this is part of what I say to a lot of people that I mentor in politics and other things. You give me 6 good people willing to eat, sleep, and breathe an issue, and we can conquer the world. That's all you need, and we have a lot more than 6 people. And this thing grows from here. So Halloween of last year was a great day when Ørsted announced that they were sailing back to Copenhagen. It was a tremendous day. It will always be special to me. I always liked Halloween. It's my son's favorite holiday, as he says. But it really is something special to me now. Every Halloween, I'll remember getting calls from the State House, from friends of mine in Trenton saying, the Ørsted people are in and out of the governor's office, and they look really pissed off. And I said, well, what's going on? And finally somebody said, I hear they're leaving. I said, don't even tease me with that. Don't even tell me that unless it's true. And about 11:30 that night, I got a call from a very high-ranking elected official saying, it's over, they're leaving. And I mean, I was jumping up and down in my kitchen, and I texting, calling people. And one of the people I called was our county administrator, Kevin Lair, whose wife Annette is a big part of these protest movements, has been for some time. And I said, wake up the public information officer. She's going to have to issue a press release at 3 a.m. Because they're giving a press conference in Copenhagen, and it's going to be 3 a.m. our time. So get ready. I wrote that press release, and she was ready as soon as they announced to send it out. And luckily for us, they issued a press release. And it came out that night, and we issued our notice that we were having a press conference the next morning, and we did. And we rolled out there, and many of you saw that. It's still available on the county website, I think. And it was a great day. And we said, look, we're not taking sole responsibility or as Senator Testa said, spiking the ball in the end zone, because we were one of many factors, right? But we were a factor. The protesters were a factor. The litigation was a factor. The challenging them at every turn was a factor. They knew if they lost one issue in one of these court cases, it was time. They were going to be set back for years. So you don't know which straw is going to break the camel's back, but we were part of the straw that did it. Every one of you and all of these elected officials who supported us. So I'm going to wrap up with this. I was sitting at my desk sort of after that, kind of packing some stuff up, and saw their logo. And it kind of struck me in like a flux capacitor moment. Some of you sci-fi geeks know what that means. That this is kind of what it sounds like. And, you know, in a creative moment, I went online and made these t-shirts. I've given some to friends. And I've debated wearing it here today, but I thought, you know what? Because I'm like, is that too rude? And I thought, you know what? They weren't very nice to us. Did they care about our feelings when they came into town and said, hey, we're putting 200, 300 windmills off of your coast and we don't care about your economy, we don't care about your fisheries? They didn't care. Did they care about our feelings when they said over and over again, there's nothing you can do to stop this? You have to just make the best deal you can. No, they didn't care about us. Did they care about us when the whales were washing up on the beach, when the dolphins were dying? No, they didn't care. So I don't care. Or's dead. And this is the template we have to use up and down the coast. We need everybody in the street. We need lawyers, people, and money. Not lawyers, guns, and money. That's fine. We need lawyers, people, and money. We need people. We need elected officials to step up. We have driven them back to Copenhagen, but there are others waiting to come. And Atlantic Shores is ready to be built. And up and down the East Coast, they are trying to move as fast as they can to try to beat January 20th, 2025. And we got to hope that they don't. So I want to thank all of you, really, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, and I mean it. Along the way, it was exhausting. And every time I came to something like this with all of you, it lifted me up, it put me back in the game. You know, work harder, you know, push further, bring that federal lawsuit, take them to the appellate division of the Superior Court. They're now fighting to hang on to their federal permits, and we are fighting in the federal court to cancel them. So stay tuned to that. So, again, thank you all. Stay involved. Go get some more people. Keep up with this. And you're going to hear from a lot of speakers from all over the place. And this fight is not just us. This fight is up and down the East Coast, and it's important that we're all part of it. Us who are here in Cape May County remain in this fight and help our friends up and down the coast. All right. All right, so we're going to move through this. I want to introduce a very good friend of mine. Melanie Collette is has regular appearances on Newsmax as a political commentator. She has her own show here in Cape May County on the radio, Money Talk with Melanie. She has been involved in local politics for many, many years. And this year she became a Cape May County Commissioner and is in this fight with all of us. Melanie Collette.
I got it.
Yeah, but it's going to be covered up. You're going to smush it.
You think? There we go. Thank you.
All right.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for that. Oh, man. Thank you so much for that introduction. I appreciate it. Tonight, I did. Tonight, the one who has the most experience with these mics dropped it. Tonight, as we are lighting the Cairns, we are not just lighting the Cairns, we are igniting a fire of both victory on a local level, our local victory that we've had, albeit temporary, but we're also reigniting our determination. We were right to oppose Ørsted's offshore wind projects, and our fight has paid off in a big way. Because of your relentless efforts, Mike Donahue's relentless efforts, and the relentless efforts of your elected officials, the BPU has formally vacated all of its orders, as was talked about earlier, as far as approving Ocean Wind 1 and Ocean Wind 2. And for now, we can say bye-bye to those massive, destructive wind turbines. Don't call them windmills, because they're not some innocent little tiny little windmills. They're big, huge, destructive to the environment turbines. And they told us that we were being political. Oh, you're being political, you're politicizing this. That we were standing in the way of progress, that we didn't appreciate the need for clean energy, none of which was true. We saw what was true behind these projects and knew that the risks far outweighed the rewards. The cost of these projects were going to be to the tune of $74 billion. $8,000 per tax-paying New Jersey citizen. Unacceptable. It's a burden we could not afford. And our fishing industry, which of course is the backbone of our economy here in Cape May County, was directly in the crosshairs of these projects. One of the largest commercial fishing ports is right here in Cape May County, bringing in over $2.1 billion annually, and these turbines were going to devastate that industry. Just the fuel alone, $5.2 million in additional fuel expenses. And those expenses rolled downhill, ruining that industry. We said no to that because we knew how damaging it was going to be to our food supply, to our entire economy, and because we care. And then there's our tourism. Cape May County's $7.5 billion tourism industry supports over 39,000 jobs here in Cape May County. Our beaches and our beautiful ocean views are why millions of people come here year after year. And as alluded to earlier, even Ørsted's own studies, which I'm sure we could totally trust, said that our business would go down 15% by their own words. That drop in tourism would equal 1.5 million fewer visitors and over $1 billion in lost revenue. I don't know about you, but I don't think that's something that our county could afford. We couldn't let that happen, not to our small businesses, not to our families, and not to you who live here in Cape May County. It turns out we were right. Look what happened in Nantucket, where a single turbine blade disintegrated, dumping tons of fiberglass, foam, and industrial waste into the Atlantic Ocean. Beaches were closed, and the local economy was crippled. That could have been us. But we fought back, and for now, we won. As Senator Testa and Chairman Donahue said earlier, the fight isn't over. Cape May County is standing shoulder to shoulder with our neighbors in Brigantine and Atlantic County as they face the Atlantic Shores Project, which is only 8 miles off their coast. Those turbines will be visible from the north end of Cape May County. And we know the dangers that they pose, so we're supporting them in this fight. Here in Cape May County, we've proven that we stand together, and when we stand together, we can win. We've beaten back Ørsted for now, and we stand to continue to beat back similar projects going forward. As we light the Cairns tonight, this evening, let it burn as a symbol of our strength and our community, of our unity, and of our commitment to protect this coast. We will keep fighting, and we will keep winning. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Collette. Our next speaker is another very good friend of mine. This guy is one of the most dynamic people, one of the most energetic people I've had the pleasure to know. Known him for many years now. He has been engaged in this for the entire time. He was a councilman in Ocean City at a time when Ocean City was kind of still figuring out what all this meant. And Bobby Barr knew what it meant from the start. Since that time, he's also become a Cape May County Commissioner and is part of our team lined up to keep fighting this here in Cape May County and beyond. And I want to introduce to you a great man, a good friend in this fight to all of you, my friend Bobby Barr.
Good evening. It is so good to be here with all of you today. And I want to think back. I want everybody to think back to just 1 year ago, right? About 1 year ago when we were all here in this very same place and we were speaking. And that day, right, it was a stark contrast to today. And it was cold, it was nasty, it was windy, it was raining. It was the worst day you could possibly imagine for something like this. Everybody remember that? Yes. Right, I do. Right? But back then, there was some uncertainty as to what would happen. And even amongst us, you know, we were saying, can we do this? Will we do this? What's going to happen? We really didn't know. Fast forward to today, and it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. We're here. It's 80 degrees. And I dressed like it was going to be 50 because I had flashbacks of last year. But it's beautiful. Why is that? I'd like to think it's because God is smiling down on this day and everything we accomplished. Right? God is smiling down. But I come before you tonight, as I said last year, I've been in on this from the very beginning. As the judge said, as Michael said, I had the unfortunate pleasure of my town being ground zero. And I was council president at the time. So I had to make some very poignant decisions very early. You know, some people were coming to me and saying, take the deal, you're not going to win, you'll never get 25 million, you'll never get this or that or whatever. And I really, it was a soul-searching moment for me. It was my decision whether to lead our council against this or are we going to negotiate a deal. And I sat with some of my council mates and we decided in a closed-door meeting that this wasn't for us. We weren't going to sell our soul to the devil whether they offered 15 million or $1 billion. We weren't going to do it. It wasn't right. And as we began, I remember a conversation that I had with Mike, and we decided that we were going to engage with the county, and we were going to do this, and we were going to take this on, right? And the fight be damned. And as many of you know, I'm very close with our congressman, who they tried to steal some of the staff members. They tried to have meetings with him and I to get him to tell me to just let this go, which, if you know me, that wasn't a very good strategy. Even to get Jeff to sit there and tell me, because I would have said to him, are you crazy? What are you talking about? But thankfully he didn't do that, right? He chose to fight. And although he is not here with us, his spirit is here with us. And he led the fight, and Michael led the fight. And Mike, by the way, still hasn't dropped his lawsuits, thank God, because we're still going to need them. We're still going to have to fight. And so I am so proud of this group. I am so proud of Robin, who has put all this together. even Eustace Mita, who is not here tonight, I don't think, but he's really been a big partner in helping us do this, and I want to thank Eustace. But everybody, I want to tell you this, the fight is not over, but there's a big day coming November 5th, and I don't know if I'm supposed to get political, but I don't really care, right? There's an election November 5th, and there's a guy by the name of Donald Trump on the ballot.
Don't hold back, Bobby.
And I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but what I will say is this. He will be a partner in our fight. The federal leases will be over when he takes office one day, day one. Whereas if the other side gets in, we got an even bigger fight on our hands. So everybody hope for the right outcome 38 days from now. I'm proud to be here with all of you. I'm proud to be fighting with all of you. This is a small group. I'm proud of all of you. Robin, everybody, I'm so excited. This energizes me. People say sometimes, why do you do this? Why do you do it? But this is why. Look out there. Look at that ocean. Look at where we are. It's unique. It's unique to what we do. It's unique to what we bring. If we lost that, we lose our way of life. People are not going to come share this with us anymore, and our way of life is gone. That's why I fight. That's why I'm here, because I lived here my whole life. So thank you, all of you. I'm proud of all of you, and may God bless you.
Thanks, Bob. How about those glasses, huh? I'm going to salute them. All right. Thank you to both of our county commissioners who came tonight, Melanie Collette, Bobby Barr. Again, without them, we wouldn't have this fight in terms of our litigation, a lot of the stuff we've done on the ground. It was really the courage of these Cape May County commissioners. And I can tell you, Bobby talks about closed door, closed session meetings. We had several of those. And one of the most vocal people was Bobby Barr saying, no, we are opposing this every step of the way. Our next speaker, you know, this term has grown on everybody, and it's really become the battle cry of this movement, and I love it. And I have a shirt that I've had for a couple years that I wear all the time that says "Fight Salty" on it. It's a great slogan for what we do. It is a tremendous rallying cry for all of us, and it's what we have to do every day. And it's my pleasure to invite the CEO and founder of the New England Fishermen's Stewardship Association, Jerry Lehman, up to speak now.
All right. Good to see you. Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming out. For 23 years, I was raised on an island in Maine. I'm a fifth-generation commercial harvester. My family's lineage, we've done scalloping, shrimping, ground fishing, long lining, Fish George's Banks, the Bay of Fundy, southeast part of George's, down through the canyons, all the way out here to Block Island. We've covered a lot of territory in my family. You know, we've learned from our mistakes in the past. There's no book in the world that can teach you what's out there. It's a living knowledge that's passed from captain to mate, and that's what extends these lineages of our heritage up and down our coastlines. Not only in Maine do we take pride in what we bring to the U.S. people. I can tell you exactly where your fish came from. I can tell you it was natural. I can tell you there was no chemical derivatives. I can explain to you the health benefits to you and your family for the long term, and the sustainability efforts that we put into our fisheries so the next generation can have what we had. Heart healthy dinner, and take pride in that. And then, as I'm offshore fishing 2 years ago, I get told that we're doing massive reductions in the ground fish fleet, to the point where financially, you're not telling us we can't go fishing, but you're restricting us to the point where we financially just can't make it happen. This has been a burden for all of us. And then I got deeper diving into it and looking at floating offshore wind for the Gulf of Maine. Right now, on October 29th, they're looking to lease 827,866 acres of the Gulf of Maine. taking up almost 20% of the commercial fisheries bottom. Not only will it be affecting the trawling fleet, the lobstering fleet, the gill net fleet, the pelagic fleet, but this is what's going to be restraining U.S. wild, heart, healthy product back to your table. Almost 90% of the seafood consumed now in the United States has become foreign product. We don't know where some of that product comes from. We don't know what's been treated with it, but we know it's on the open market. And meanwhile, the one thing we can trace, the lineage all the way back to our waters, that's actually environmentally friendly, the sustainable efforts, the regulations and the policies and the fisheries are higher than any other standard in the world. That is the top of the pyramid. That is what we would want to feed our families for the long term. And that is what is directly under attack. We can't stand for this. Multiple generations of families up and down the coast for generations have been feeding your families wild, heart, healthy product are now being put out of business. And the environment from where we've been naturally sustaining the long-term health benefits for this nation are now under attack. We know these things are going to happen. Fixed offshore wind is what you're seeing here. They're telling us they're going to put in floating offshore wind turbines. It's experimental. The United Kingdom's 20 years ahead of us, is what we're told. Well, last week I was at a meeting where they had a UK fisheries liaison. They bought prototypes from Spain, floated them all the way over to the United Kingdom. They've been put up since 2019. It's only 2024. 5 years, 5 floating turbines. One of the guys asked, well, did any blades fall off? Oh, no, blades don't fall off. I was like, oh, that's funny, because we got fixed offshore wind, had one just fall off not too long ago. I go, well, he goes, well, it's not supposed to. I go, there's a lot of things that are not supposed to happen, too, but they do. I was like, well, I go, they can't tell us about anchoring systems, because they're restricting lobstermen now to use ropeless gear initiatives because of the possibility of the entanglements of the right whale. I go, well, that's funny, because where these sites are in the Gulf of Maine are almost 700 feet of water, and they said they have to have 7-to-1 scope on the anchoring chains, 3-part systems. Well, that's 4,900 feet times 3 is 14,700 feet per turbine. That's not counting the cables draped to the midwater column. I hope the whale don't get tangled in that. But we're going to kill the fisheries. Specifically in the state of Maine, Maine only accounted ever for 0.5% of all whale entanglements on the eastern seaboard. Has anybody ever seen a half a whale alive? I never have. But those are what the public's being told. And in the meantime, the heart-healthy product that the American fisheries has been bringing to you for multiple generations is now under attack. And that environment with that naturally sustaining product that was supposed to be here for our children and our children's to come is now possibly on the chopping block. And that's where Fight Salty is. Especially being a blue water fisherman, you know, when you're far away off the sea, no one's coming to help you. You have the men on your vessel to come together as a team and get it done. Hell or high water. That's what it is. And that's why we Fight Salty. And with everybody's help, we can all get on this ship that's aimlessly wandering at sea and correct course for a true heading. I thank you.
Let's give it up for Jerry. He came all the way from Maine to be here. It's an important message, and it's one that we've been driving as well here in Cape May County. And very quickly, you know, Ørsted admitted that they were going to damage the fisheries industry, and they said they were going to create a fund to help the families with the boats who could no longer fish. And one of my friends, who's a scalper, said, and he used some more colorful language that I won't use here, but he said, we don't want a fund, we want to fish. We don't want a fund. That became part of our rallying cry as well. So it's really important to have people like Jerry out there in the fight, and we want to thank him for coming all the way here tonight. It's a big deal. So I'll tell you a quick story. I'm at the Icona for the Protect Our Coast fundraiser, and this lovely young lady comes up to me and says, hey, do you want a piece of the turbine blade? I said, yeah, I want a piece of that turbine blade. And Bonnie Brady handed me this chunk of foam and fiberglass, and I'm like, this is it. It's still in my Jeep. I'm going to put it in a glass case and display it. Bonnie is the executive director of the Long Island Commercial Fishing Association and a newly minted member of the board of Protect Our Coast. be ambidextrous.
All right. Good, good, good. Okay. And I do have some more debris in my car if anybody would like a piece. I have a couple of posters on offshore wind. I think I have a survival suit from when myself, Jerry, and Rose, wherever you are, we all went on the Vineyard Wind flotilla that was had. And it was a really great event. And we get back, and I get a text that, hey, Mom, I had an accident. I'm wearing a helmet, but I think I messed my back up. That's a little personal story, but it actually makes sense if you follow my logic here. My daughter got thrown from a horse in Georgia, and I was getting off the boat in Massachusetts. I drove to Providence. 5 hours later, got on a plane, was in Georgia. She was in the ICU. She's okay. She broke several vertebrae of her back, but she's okay. She's moving. Everything is good. And yesterday, we did the follow-up because we weren't sure. Saw a really gnarly MRI, and he said, she's going to be fine. And when I heard that, oh, Marie, if you're watching, but when I heard that, it was like I spent a month getting up at first 8 times a day, then 6 times a day giving her medicine so there would be no pain. You know, she loved it. I was waiting on her hand and foot. Her new dog that never learned to walk on a leash. Yeah, that was fun. But when your kid is hurt and then you hear they're going to be okay, nothing else matters. The reason I'm saying this, I'm not just doing this because the American people are being lied to, and it pisses the hell out of me because I'm originally from New Jersey, South Orange. And I went to Sandy Hook every weekend, and then one week we got to go to Long Beach Island to Bay Village for the Belgian waffles and the Adabede store, and I think we did Avalon once or twice.
Yeah, there you go.
Our kids and our grandkids and their kids deserve to have that right behind you guys. Take a really good look. It is so important. And people are being lied to. They're being told that we have to do this to save the ocean. You don't destroy the environment to save it. We all know, those of us that have been in the trenches, we all know what those documents say. Offshore wind will have a negligible effect on climate change for all the wind farms. But compared to global, no, no, no. Increased sea surface temperature, loss of wind up to 60 miles past the lease site, a decrease in the amount of upwelling and downwelling in the ocean. We're going to literally make the ocean sick and less productive. Sediment plumes, depending on where you're at. Hell, they put the OSWT PLP underwater bulldozer through Cox's Ledge, which is a habitat area of particular concern for cod. And then said, oh, were we supposed to ask for permission first? Sorry. Orsted did that. What I'd like for everybody here that's listening, whether you join Protect Our Coast, go on the website, go onto several of the Facebook pages, come to a meeting. A lot of people in this room have done an awful lot of hideous reading, and it is hideous. Thousands of pages until you're bleary-eyed, and then you see something totally ridiculous, and you call someone, did you see that? Are they kidding? Well, Vineyard Wind, they just, I'm going to have to squint without my glasses, so bear with me. Vineyard Wind just got the approval for the Phase 2 IHA, that's an incidental harassment authorization. Level B harassment includes behavioral, they hear noise, they get scared, they run away, the kids run away, they don't want to feed, they don't want to communicate, and temporary deafness. Level A is permanent deafness and mild injury to your lungs in case of an unexploded ordnance. So, what did Vineyard Wind get? Under the new authorization, Vineyard Wind may injure 1 fin whale, endangered, 2 humpback whales, protected, 1 minke whale, also protected, 1 sei whale, and 1 harbor seal under Level A harassment. It may disturb 7 right whales, 6 fin whales, 4 humpback whales, 28 minke whales, they must have pulled the short straw, 2 sei whales, 2 sperm whales, as well as hundreds of dolphins and seals in total from various species under Level B harassment. Sei whales and fin whales are endangered. Our analysis determined
that pile driving is likely to adversely affect marine mammals and cause behavioral response and stress in a small number of individual North Atlantic right whales, fin, sei, and sperm whales. NOAA wrote in its opinion, pile driving is also likely to result in permanent auditory injury, permanent deafness, in 5 fin and 2 sei whales. Those are all endangered whales. So we're getting closer. They're almost actually saying, hey, we're going to deafen whales from this stuff. Because we all know, oh, we have no direct information proving this, and they're not looking. Everyone here, please get involved before it's too late. What you guys did in New Jersey is great. On Long Island, hook, line, and sinker, all the politicians took the money, $29 million for South Fork Wind. They did nothing for commercial fishermen. Our entire livelihood is up for grabs. Everybody's kids and grandkids deserve this. They're being sold a story by foreign government-owned energy companies, private equity, and mutual funds. We need to fight. And it may be fight salty, but it's also fight because you're from Jersey.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bonnie. That's great. The fight goes on all over the place. And, you know, we kind of haven't said enough about the whales and the dolphins. And, you know, that was a moment in time, as all of you know, that interest in this issue really crystallized. And thank God for them. They gave their lives for this cause. You know, I've lived here my whole life. Many of you have. It was a big deal if a whale washed up. It didn't happen. It was in the paper. It was, people went to see it. And all of a sudden it was happening once a week. And dolphins, 9 dolphins stranded themselves in Sea Isle City. Unprecedented, has never happened before. And those dolphins and whales really brought attention to these issues, and we owe them all a real debt. Our next speaker comes to us from he's the president and co-founder of CFAC, the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow. He's directing the guys in the green shirts. Keep yelling us about the microphone and stuff like that. And he probably knows how to use the mic. So we have that much time. You got to look at that sunset if you haven't seen it. You got to check it out. So that's how much time. All right, Craig Rucker, come on up. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. All right, well, this is exciting. It was the second one here. I guess it came last year, and it's just a thrill to be here. I'm going to ham it up for the cameraman here, who's asked me to do a little chant, because we want to get this in the video. We're going to say, save whales, stop windmills. So it'll be, save whales, stop windmills. Got it?
Do it.
All right, let's do it.
Come on.
1, 2, 3. Save whales, stop windmills. 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 We good to go, Paul?
I need some more energy.
More energy, guys. Hands. Let's do it. Fists in the air. Ready? Save whales, stop. All right, we got it going. Good. All right, good job, guys. All right, as was said, my name is Craig Rucker. I serve as the president of the Washington, D.C.-based Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow. We've been involved in this whale issue in a number of different ways. I myself am a plaintiff in a lawsuit trying to stop Dominion's off-coast wind energy project. We sought a injunction to try to stop them from moving. That failed a little bit earlier this year, but it was kind of bad news, good news. The bad news is the judge said there were no whales off the coast of Virginia Beach at the time she made her ruling, when in fact there was actually some areas that boaters had to slow down to avoid them, but she gave us standing, which is a big achievement. So we just right now are putting in our arguments, which we have to be in by October 4th. That gives Dominion 30 days after that point to get their counter arguments. And if all goes well, hopefully we'll be able to stop the 176 offshore wind turbines that are scheduled to be put in off Virginia Beach. Wanted to give a little encouragement, and I'll make it very short because I was told that sun is going down there. Last year, after we had this meeting here, I went back and we did a couple other events, and I want to tell you that this event made a difference. How did it make a difference? Well, within about a month and a half, 2 months, people who had actually read some press clippings about this, saw a video about what took place here in Cape May, contacted me from Oregon. Now, little known, near Coos Bay, Oregon, it's kind of the southwestern corner of Oregon, near California, go figure. They're going to put in floating offshore wind turbines. So, of course, we put one of our researchers on it to look in, and you heard about the floating offshore wind turbines. We realize that that's an experimental technology. It's too deep to put them in the ground there, so they're going to strap them down with a bunch of cables. They are upset about it. I talked to fishermen. I talked to local officials. I talked to Native American spokesmen. Now, the interesting thing was, when I first came there, all the groups were pretty opposed to it except for the Native American spokesmen, who were in support of it. So we introduced them to the arguments against that. Interestingly, I didn't hear from them for a number of months, except from the activists that we were. And just a few weeks ago, on September 6th, the Native Americans filed suit against that offshore wind project. The news gets better. As a result of them filing suit, all the companies that were going to put into that withdrew. So the auction for all the sites has been pulled, and there are no floating wind turbines because of what took place here, indirectly impacting what eventually stopped them in Oregon. We've had other big battles. We do against onshore wind in Lava Ridge. That project looks in jeopardy. Another one in Wyoming looks in jeopardy. According to Robert Bryce, there have been 35 communities, and we worked in a number of them this year, that have actually pulled together and stopped both offshore and onshore wind in their communities. And it's from gatherings just like this. And of course, the best news is yet to come, because if things go as we hope they do, we have one candidate who's running for president who says he will stop offshore wind. Yeah, I'm prohibited by my tax status from telling you how to vote, but let's just say, you know, it's not the one that's holistically thinking. All right. All right. Anyway, I don't want to take too much more time. We're going to have to form around the whale tail. I probably should give it back to the MC, but our folks have put together a whale tail there, and we're going to have you take a light and go around it. Please don't step on the whale tail. Be behind the lights. And we're going to have a drone fly over top of your head. Don't shoot it down. That are going to take pictures of this from the air. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. And God bless.
Jamie, you take that mic?
Oh, there's another speaker.
One more. Real quick, just to clean up. All right. While she puts on the microphone, and before we go to the whale tail, can you please give it up for Jamie? Jamie Steyert is the one who really did all the legwork on this event, pulled everybody together, has worked tirelessly to protect our coast, and is now also the Vice President of National Offshore Opposition Alliance. So let's hear it for Jamie. She closes it out.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It's a lot warmer than last year. I think, like Bobby said, it was freezing. I'm going to do this quick because the sun is beautiful and it's going down. I just want to take a couple minutes, and everybody knows, we know about the whales, we know about the turbines. I want to talk about gratitude. I look out and I see all these people taking time out of their day to come together for one common purpose, and it's stopping offshore wind in its tracks. Today, we remind and reassure our beloved commercial fishermen that we are fighting like hell for them. Yeah. We remind people that we are fighting like hell to preserve our delicate and precious marine environment. And we remind people that we are fighting like hell to prevent an energy nightmare that will it'll hurt us in untold ways. But most importantly, we're here to show the world that we're united from all walks of life in dozens of anti-wind groups. It's an opportunity for fellowship, learning, and to peacefully raise awareness about the massively critical threat these projects pose to our environment. But the tide is turning, and that's the good news. The winds of change have not been kind to the offshore wind industry. From canceled projects to broken blades, higher than expected costs, and believe it or not, the inability to source the actual blades, which actually makes me laugh every time I think about it. And guess what? Microsoft understands the deal. They're going to be getting power from nuclear, finally, and none other than 3 Mile Island. I think it's reactor number 2. Finally, people are seeing things more clearly. Our groups are gaining in membership, popularity, and there's a new coalition that has formed, the National Offshore Opposition Alliance. As an officer of this coalition, I can tell you we have anti-wind groups from California, Oregon, New England, New York, New Jersey. Jerry Lehman, we are not only fighting salty, now we're fighting saltier. Yeah. Being in this fight just about every day comes with its fair share of emotions, and oftentimes the most common emotions are frustration and sadness, peppered with disbelief that this is even happening. But with that said, the other emotion I experience on a daily basis is gratitude. The people I have met and the deep friendships I've made and continue to make remind me that this is all worth it. And belonging to POC and J family has given me more hope and confidence in our cause than I could have possibly imagined. Today is a spectacular example of people giving of themselves for such an important cause. And I want to express my deepest and most sincere gratitude. I'd like to individually name everyone that I'm grateful for, but I am so worried I'll forget someone, so I'm going to avoid screwing that up. I'll begin with our volunteers. You all know who you are. This group of people never says no to an event or an opportunity to help, and today was no exception. They consistently show up, and these are salt of the earth people that I am so blessed to know. And look at this, our elected officials. Mike Testa was here. Jeff Van Drew, I know he would have been here if it wasn't his grandson's birthday. These people have been working tirelessly to put an end to the madness. And how about our county officials today? This fight is on the top of their list, and I can't thank all of them enough for their support. It has been just nonstop. And they came out today to show the world who we are and that we mean business here in New Jersey and in Cape May County. Yeah. And of course, Mike Donahue, who graciously said yes to emceeing this year and made me feel better that it only takes 6 people. I think we got that beat now. And to every single person standing out here today, I am so grateful to each and every one of you for taking the time and making the effort to be a part of something so critically important. And last but not absolutely, not least, I have to point out that some people in the crowd traveled hours to join us. And in a little traffic, Bonnie, maybe? Jerry Lehman drove from Maine. Ken Adams is here from Rhode Island. Rachel Rohde is here from Massachusetts. Diana Harris came from Maryland. Bonnie from Long Island. Greg Rucker from Virginia. And Maureen Coates from DC even showed up and surprised us. You guys all need to raise your hands because you deserve the award for traveling the furthest to be here. So let's give them a round of applause. Yep. And as always, I'm grateful to my family for listening to me talk about this nonstop and for giving me a pass when dinner's not made, laundry's not done, and all the other things I forget about or just don't do. Maybe this is my excuse, I don't know, because I'm not going to stop fighting until we win this battle and these utterly idiotic projects are off the table. You guys are amazing. Let's give a round of applause for ourselves and for each other. And let's go enjoy that sunset. Well, it's gone. And hopefully you guys got some beautiful pictures. And I'm going to let Mike wrap things up. But we've got our whale. So my niece's husband, Marcos, and my son, Jeremy, there they go. They made the whale this year. We've got it lit up. We had awesome pictures last year. They are phenomenal. So let's get some pictures. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you guys so much.
Give it up again for Jamie. What a great job with this event. And we have people from all over the country here in Cape May County. It's huge. Thank you all for coming. So my last instruction from Jamie is to tell you all there are glow sticks around, right? Somebody's got them up here, but they're around. We're gonna, and then everybody grab one. We're gonna go to the whale tail and place them and take some pictures. Thank you all so much for coming. Great job.
When the sun beats down and melts the tar up on the roof, and the sidewalk's so hot you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, on a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun, under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk, from the park we hear the happy sounds of the carousel. Smell the caramel popcorn from Johnson's 8th Street stand. Oh yeah, under the boardwalk, down by the sea, on a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun, under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk, from the music pier we hear the kids screaming at Playland. That's Ocean City. Smell the caramel popcorn from Oxford's 8th Street stand. Oh yeah, under the boardwalk, down by the sea, on a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun, under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk. Okay, what can do? Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing with the breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather around her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the skies, misty taste, moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Take me home, country roads, to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, I hear her voice in the morning now as she calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Running down the road I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Down country roads, take me home. Oh, go ahead. That's all right. Nobody's watching here.
Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you. I'll be alone each and every night. While you're away, don't forget to write. Bye-bye, so long, farewell. Bye-bye, so long. See you in September. See you when the summer's through. Here we are, saying goodbye at the station. Summer vacation is taking you away. Have a good time, but remember, danger in the summer moon above. Will I see you in September, or lose you to a summer love? Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Bye, baby, goodbye. Bye, baby, goodbye. Bye, baby, goodbye. Bye, baby, goodbye. Have a good time. But remember, there is danger in the summer moon above. Will I see you in September, or lose you to a summer love? Will I see you in September, or lose you to a summer love? Okay, so in case you ever see the name around, I'm Doug Memphis, and come see me if you ever, see a marquee for that. I'm going to play one more song here so I can free myself up, and this song is near and dear to wind fighters' hearts because there was a movie, it came out in the late 1960s, I think, The Man of La Mancha from a Broadway play. And in there, the conquistador fought the wind turbines. And the sentiment from the main theme from that movie, even though he was kind of a crazy guy, the sentiment is correct for us wind fighters. So please listen to the words and let them inspire your hearts in the fight against our offshore wind turbines. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far.
to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if we'll only be true to this glorious quest, that our hearts will lie peaceful and calm when we're laid to our rest. And the world will be better for this. That one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars.
Well, thank you kindly. Thank you very much.
cool pattern on it. And, yeah, I like that better. I don't like the round bowls when I'm trying to stand up. They're awkward. Yeah, so you end up doing like this. But, what kind of bowl do you have? Mid. I had a shell and got stolen in college. So we took it, so then I got to another one.
We just wanted to say bye-bye.
Okay.
We're going to
catch up again,
Jamie
right?
in the morning and find out what might work for everybody. Maybe go get some lunch or whatever will work.
So, you know there's a dinner tonight?
Yes, but she says that there's a really great one. So we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. You know, because it's kind of hard to talk about.
Yes. I think for your purposes, tomorrow will be much better.
I mean,
you
I'd love
might
to see
enjoy
it,
it.
but